Britain's first Prime Minister, Robert Walpole wished to realise his dream of a truly magnificent house that would justly reflect his considerable power and status. No expense was spared, and every room was to be lavishly decorated using the finest craftsmen of the early 18th century. It was to become a place for political entertaining on a grand scale. Welcome to Houghton Hall. Despite long periods of neglect when the house was put up for sale, little has changed since Walpole's time, with much of the original furniture and fabrics still in place. Each room has its own unique story and quality. Today I'm being shown around the hall by senior house guide John Marchant. Wow, this is a fairly impressive hallway, John.
Yes, this was the formal entrance hall in Sir Robert Walpole's time, where important guests would be invited to enter through the doors over here, and as they walked through, you looked around and you were left in no doubt as to the importance and status of your host.
It's just so intricate. The carvings are just stunning.
Well, it sets the tone for the whole house, which was really set out to impress, and it embodies everything that was fashionable and desirable in the 18th century.
And I noticed there's a number of, I presume, Roman emperors.
Yes.
Does Walpole feature in here?
Sir Robert himself features over the fireplace there, a bust by Michael Rysbrack, dressed as a new imperial Roman to represent the new form of parliamentary government over which he now presides in this country and did for 21 years. And he surrounds himself with busts of mainly Roman emperors, and notice that each one is placed slightly lower than he is, and they illustrate the kind of company with which he'd like to be associated.
So John, amongst all of the white stone, there is actually one black piece that stands out dramatically. Tell me about that.
The Laocoon statue. The legend is that Laocoon was a priest of Apollo who tried to warn the Trojans not to accept the wooden horse into Troy at the time from ancient mythology. The gods were the only people who could direct the course of war, and so they were displeased with him for trying to alter it effectively, and so they sent serpents from the sea to destroy him and his sons. It's a rather gruesome topic, but that's what it represents. Sir Robert, who wanted a striking centrepiece for this entrance hall, heard that it might be available, so dispatched his eldest son, also called Robert, on the grand tour, and told him effectively, come back via Paris, offer them 1,000 guineas, and bring it back with you.
So it's quite a striking piece as the guests arrive, and then they're taken into the next room to meet Walpole.
Yes, that's right. They'll come through here, look all around, take that in, I expect, and then turn, as we do, walk through here. And this leads us into the saloon, which was, after the formal entrance hall, was the formal reception room, where you'd be properly received at the start of your stay. And well, again, it exemplifies the whole purpose of the house, to impress.
One of the things that immediately strikes you in this room, John, is this extraordinary furniture. What do we know about it?
Yes, this is a unique suite of furniture designed and made by William Kent, again, who had a free hand to do the interior design for the house. As I say, it is unique, and it's a very sumptuous suite for the saloon. And it's matched also, as you'll see, by the cut and uncut velvet wall covering. It's known as Caffoy, made in Utrecht in Holland. The other main features in the room to pick up, and each tells its own story really. The picture in front of us is the Walpole family, and it shows in effect the succession, with Sir Robert and his second wife in the centre, and his daughter on the right, who married into the Cholmondeley family. So
John, we've got sumptuous furniture, extraordinary paintings, but the eye is drawn to this ceiling.
Yes, the William Kent's splendid ceiling, the central feature of which is Apollo charging across the heavens in his chariot. Also featured are the four seasons. To the west side there's autumn and winter, and to the east above me is spring and summer. It's just full of intricate artwork. Notice particularly the gilded mosaic painted onto the ceiling. And then you come down a bit further and there's a frieze running around just above the cafeoy wall covering, and you'll notice that it's a frieze of hunting scenes. You've got bows and quivers of arrows and hounds and hares and so on, reflecting Sir Robert's not only his ancestry but also his particular interest in country pursuits, which he was very enthusiastic about. So this room, being the formal entrance room, reception room, then led to a further suite of rooms which are reserved for most important guests, and among those is the marble parlour, which was Sir Robert's formal dining room. Interesting fact that it was one of the first formal dining rooms in the country. And of course, when Sir Robert designed or thought of the house, he wanted it to incorporate everything that was up to date and modern. And so this is the result. So it was a sumptuous room. It's William Kent ceiling. And he really went to town on this. It's a celebration of feasting and drinking. The sculpture above the fireplace, carved from a single piece of marble by Michael Rysbrack, is a sacrifice to Dionysus, the god of wine. The table is Sir Robert's own table. It was commissioned for him. And the table setting on it is a typical 18th century style table setting. That's the most easiest way to describe it. And presiding over all is Sir Robert, in this fine portrait of him alongside us, dressed in his robes as Knight of the Garter, which he was awarded in 1726 and was extremely proud of, being one of the first commoners to be so honoured with that award.
Wonderful. Well, John, thank you so much. You've given us just a little taste of some of the rooms here at Houghton. It's been extraordinary. So thank you very much indeed. It's been very, very informative.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Robert Walpole's direct descendant, the 7th Marquis of Cholmondeley, now resides with his family in this magnificent hall, and he's kindly showing me Sir Robert Walpole's own personal study and library.
It's pretty much exactly as it was in his time. All his books here, the bookcases designed around his collection of books by William Kent.
This desk is the one that he signed many official papers at then?
Yes, he would have worked at this desk. His own bedroom is just next door, so he would have gone back and forth.
Do you remember as a child in the 60s visiting grandparents and getting a sense of everything around here? Or?
Yes, it was always, I remember the atmosphere, this extraordinary atmosphere of history, and coming here for holidays with my grandmother. And this room always was a fascination with the books, and she'd bring out some of the books, especially with the drawings of the house, and it really gave you a sense of that history, and that the place had never changed.
In the grounds here at Houghton, you've developed your own collection of modern art. What was the driving force behind that?
I just felt that we should add something of our own time to the place, and sculpture was a good thing, because you don't have to impinge on the house itself. Probably the largest, it's a sky space by the American artist James Turrell, which is a sort of viewing chamber, and you sit and you can see the sky through an aperture with the light around, so the colours of the sky seems to change in a way you wouldn't see outside.
The gardens themselves you developed as a if you like a homage to your grandmother, if I'm right in saying so. It was a development in memory of her. Did you always have as a child an interest in gardening and flowers and vegetables?
So I've always liked gardens and known a bit, but not particularly good gardener. But looking for something, I was looking for something as a memorial to my grandmother, all she'd done here. And she always said that she'd have liked to have developed the wall garden and done something with it, and never got round to it. So I thought this is the perfect thing to do.
And it's developed, hasn't it? I mean, it's quite stunning, particularly in the height of summer, with all of the magnificent flowers that are out.
Yes, we started maybe more than 20 years ago, and all shrubs and everything and the hedges have grown and developed wonderfully.
So when this garden was designed, it was designed into 4 quarters, wasn't it? The one we're in at the moment is the, is this the Italian garden?
The Italian garden, yes. And there's the rose garden and the vegetable and fruit garden area and the croquet and Mediterranean garden.
In my mind, there's something here for everyone to see, whether it be the wonderful interiors of the house, such as the architecture, the furniture or the ceilings, or the 5-acre award-winning garden, the sculptures, or much of that which we haven't been able to show you in this short programme, such as the stable block, the playground or the soldier museum. However, what makes it so unique is the history of this building. And to me, that makes it a real heavyweight in the realms of stately homes of Norfolk.